We're here in my garden in Santa Cruz, California, and I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about growing garlic today. So I want to let you know that it's very easy to grow garlic. You can buy a head of garlic at your grocery store or go to your garden center and get garlic grown, garlic just for growing in your garden. But the easiest thing to do is just go to the farmer's market where this is from, or the grocery store. And this is a head of garlic, and these are cloves. And what you do is you just take this pointed end and have that sticking straight down into the earth. So the best time to plant garlic is in the fall. And you can see I've got some garlic growing right here that I planted last September. The garlic is ready to be harvested when the stalks get very dry and brittle. So I've just lifted some garlic, and underneath is a beautiful, so this garlic is Rosa garlic, and it grows very well here in Santa Cruz. In your area you might find a different type of garlic to grow. So in the fall, again, I'll take these of garlic that I get at the farmer's market, or I can save one of these heads of garlic and simply stick one clove with the pointed side up, dig about 2-3 inches down, cover the clove with your soil that's been amended, and then water. They grow to green stalks, and then once again when it's all dried up, then they're ready to be harvested. Let's go in the kitchen and do some cooking with this fresh garlic. Hello, I'm Baldzikowski, and today I wanted to share with you one of my favorite bread recipes. It's called fougasse. It's a French-style flatbread. A lot of us know the flatbread focaccia, and this is the French version of the Italian focaccia. So what I need 2 cups of warm water, and I usually just put it in my microwave for 1 minute, and it gets it to about 100 degrees. So we're making a yeast bread today. I've got some active dry yeast and some sea salt and all-purpose organic flour. I'm using organic flour today, all-purpose, because it's softer than bread flour, has a nice soft crumb to it. So what I'm going to do is wait for that water to warm up, add my yeast, and the yeast is activated by the warm water, by liquid, and then add my flour to that. The yeast starts eating the carbohydrates in the flour and starts producing carbon dioxide and alcohol gases, making our bread nice and bubbly. So let me check and see how the water's doing. So all I'm going to do is put my warm water, it has to be 100 to 105 degrees, and just watch how this yeast starts to come alive once it hits the warm water. So I don't even need a spoon for this part. I just want to hydrate the yeast, get it liquid, swirl it around the bowl to make sure it's all liquid, dissolved, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my flour. So we've got some of the yeast particles on the side of the bowl. I think I will just get in there with my spatula. You can see the yeast bubbling in the middle of the bowl. So with this recipe, I just want to help you demystify the complications of yeast dough. This is a real simple, no need to knead recipe. I'm adding my flour and then just a little bit of sea salt on top of the flour. So we don't want to have the dry salt with the yeast because that kills the yeast. Salt straight on the dry yeast is usually not a good idea. So that's why I layered the ingredients that way. With this bread today, I'm also putting in some garlic, some let's see, the early Italian purple garlic I'm putting in, very fragrant. It's a garlic that we grow in Gilroy. And I'm also putting in some Kalamata olives. So right now I've got a dough that's not quite together. We call it a shaggy dough. It's got little bits and pieces in it. And at this point I'm going to go ahead and add my half a cup of chopped Kalamata olives and my 3 cloves of garlic that have been chopped. Okay, 3 medium cloves or so. You know, if you like a lot of garlic, go for it. Put a lot in there. Put that much in there. So I'm just really cutting and folding the dough. I want to get all the olives and garlic evenly incorporated and then cleaning off the side of the bowl with my spatula. So this is it for this dough. It's a loose dough. It's going to be nice and airy, lots of big bubbles, a soft texture. At this point, this dough takes 2 days to finish the bread, and I'm going to go ahead and cover it with some saran wrap nice and tight, and this is going to ferment in the refrigerator overnight for up to 12 hours. We're going to be looking at a dough that comes out of the oven, out of the refrigerator. We'll shape it into leaf shapes and then make some cuts in the dough and top it with some fresh hummingbird sage from the garden. So I'll get this in the refrigerator and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay, here we are back again. The dough is rested in the refrigerator overnight. You can see how bubbly it is. The fermentation is in action. So what I want to do now is I want to oil 2 cookie sheets with extra virgin olive oil, about 2 tablespoons of oil. And I'm going to divide this dough into 2 pieces. It's very sticky. I don't want to smash it down. I want to gently scrape it out of my bowl and just kind of eyeball half the amount on one cookie sheet and half on this other greased cookie sheet. You want to make sure you get most of that bread dough out of your bowl, and then you want to let it sit for 10 minutes on the counter. Once your bread is rested, you'll have given it some time to relax a little bit. It'll be easy to shape. Go ahead and dip your hands in the oil on your counter. And what you want to do is shape it into a leaf. Once you get your little clump of bread on the sheet pan, you can kind of see the shape forming. So this is real creative with your leaf form. So you want to go ahead and shape both your pieces of dough into leaves. Gather some of that extra oil on your pan and gently pat the bread. So at this point, I'm ready to go ahead and make my indentations in my bread dough to kind of give more of the vein look of a leaf. I'm using a pizza wheel, just slicing open 6 indentations. At this point, you really want to pull these big, because as we let this bread rest, this dough rest for about 30 minutes, we can see it come up a little bit. It'll be double in size. So this is going to be the shape I put in the oven in a few minutes. Well, in about 30 minutes when it doubles inside. I can go ahead and sprinkle on a little sage, some fresh sage from my garden. Gives it a nice nice texture and flavor. And then usually with the fougasse and focaccia, we have a little bit of flake salt that we dust on the bread. So this is going to be ready to go into a 500-degree oven. And once I put it in the 500-degree oven, I'll turn it down to 450, and it'll cook for about 15 minutes. I'll see you back when it's all cooked. Okay, now the bread is doubled in size. I'm going to put it in my 500-degree oven and then immediately turn it down to 450. So I'll show you what that looks like when it's nice and golden brown. Okay, let's see if our bread is ready. And it looks beautiful. It's brown around the edges. It's got some nice caramelization there. And you can see our Gilroy garlic underneath the crust there. We've got our Kalamata olives. It's sprinkled with hummingbird sage from my garden, which I have right here. And you can see it's in our leaf shape. When it cools down, this is what I like to do with the bread. I like to cut it up in pieces and put it on a nice big platter with some cheeses, hummus, olives, garden tomatoes, and then take this to parties. And everyone loves eating the bread. It's delicious, it's crunchy, has that bite with the garlic and the tartness of the olives, and it's a real crowd pleaser. So I hope you'll try this recipe at home. Thanks for watching, and happy baking.